However, for now, let us move along to our next guest. Some news regarding him last week. First reported here at ESPN that James Gallagher, one of the top prospects in the Bellator 145-pound division, would be moving down to 135 at Bellator 204 in August. MMA Fighting reporting last week that he would be meeting Ricky Bandejas, who is another East Coast fighter who has climbed the rank interim champion for CFFC. They'll be fighting August 17th in South Dakota. He joins us right now on the phone. The Strabanimal himself, James Gallagher, is standing by. James, how are you?
What's up, Ariel? You all good?
Yes, I'm all good, James. It's good to talk to you, and I appreciate the time. I know you're training in a few minutes, so thank you very much for taking some time out to speak to us here. So why are you moving down to 135 now? I know you've dabbled with this idea, you've discussed it, but why now? Why is this the right time?
For one reason and one reason only, and that's to become a world champion. So it is. I'm going to go in here now and beat this guy in 6-7 weeks' time, and then I'm going to go straight for Ariel Helwani and go for that belt. If he comes back, or he's gone running already, I just announced that I was going down one day, and the champion of the division moves up.
Yeah, it's a weird thing because on that same card, he's fighting at 145. Did you know that was going to go down like that?
No, I didn't know. I didn't think so. I didn't think he'd go running. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if he's going to stay there. I don't know if he's going back, but I know one thing for sure. I'm going to 135, and I'm going to beat this guy Ricky in a few weeks, and then I'm going for the belt. That's what I know.
Have you asked Bellator what's his status? Like if he's staying there at 145, is he just taking a pit stop at 145? Where's he at?
I don't really care about him enough to ask questions about him. I want the belt, not him. Do you know what I mean? And so if he bounces and leaves the belt, I'm coming and I'm grabbing it. And if he stays and keeps the belt, well, I'm coming straight for him and I'm going to take that belt. So it doesn't matter what he does. I'm just going for the belt, and that's all I want. That's all I care about.
Are you done at 145, or do you plan on getting both belts?
I'm not done, but I'm going to 135, and I'm going to be a world champion at 135, and definitely in the future I plan to go back up and get that 145-pound belt as well. But I'm going to see how I feel at 135, and I'm going to be in no rush. Do you know what I mean? I'm young, and it take my time, and I feel like when I go down now to 135 and I win the belt soon, which will probably be this year, I reckon it sets me up for a great future and in general in MMA. Like I feel like I can jump around and do a lot of things and jump different weight classes. I can bounce up and fight for the 145-pound belt, and then even towards the end of my career, then I could probably go to 155 because I'm big. Do you know what I mean? I'm getting bigger, and I'm walking around now at a good weight. I walk around at about 165 or so. So it's I can bounce. I feel like I'm at a weight that I can bounce between them all.
When you say, okay, we're 6 weeks out, you're making your bantamweight debut, what do you think the cut is going to be like? Are you dreading this? Was 145 just super easy for you? Do you feel like this will be a little more taxing?
No, I don't think it'll be. I'm working with George Lockhart.
Okay.
So it is. I'm working with the best. You know what I mean? I got him looking after nutrition, then I've got Health Matters who do my cardio kind of side of things, and then I've got the best man in the business to get the skill set up, and John Kavanagh and stuff. So I'm working with the best here. Do you know what I mean? And if you want to be the best, you got to work with the best and learn from the best. So that's what I'm doing, and soon enough, everyone's going to know that I'm the best.
What do you walk around at?
I go up to about 165.
Oh, man, 165. What are you at now?
About 160.
150 or 160?
160.
Okay.
160.
But that's okay.
So I'm good. So I feel great, feel fit, feeling strong, and I'm looking forward to getting back in there. It's been a long road coming back, and I'm focused, and I've been just through so much that I feel like that nothing's going to faze me anymore. Do you know what I mean? Nothing from what I've been through this past year of injuries and having to bounce out of fights and stuff, that there's nothing in there. Do you know what I mean? It's all fun now. This is the fun part, dieting, making weights and training and getting back into the fight. That's fun for me. That's enjoyable for me. When you're laying up and can't be able to move your leg after getting the operation on your knee, that's hard and that's not fun. Eating clean, training every day and enjoying it, getting better. That's all I want to do. I don't want to do anything else.
How is your knee feeling now?
Better than ever.
Oh yeah.
Better than ever. I've never felt better. So I haven't it's been a long time since I've been injury free and stuff. But I've changed my training up a little bit and doing more like yoga kind of based training and like stretching more in like a movement kind of training as well. Added into like kind of more prehab training. I'm doing a lot of prehab kind of training to make sure my body's like mobile before every training session and to prevent all these things from happening again. So I'm very focused and I'm very aware of my own body and very aware of what I'm doing with it in training sessions and just focusing on that a lot. And I feel better than ever.
As you know, James, it's been a little over a year now since you last fought that great performance against Machida in New York. And it's so interesting because that night I remember I made a point to sit cage side, front row, to watch the crowd, to hear the crowd, to feel the crowd. You came across as a superstar. And now by the time you'll fight in August, it will be around 14 months since your last fight. It's better to take a break on a win than a loss. But has it been frustrating that you haven't been able to build off that great moment?
It's not frustrating that I haven't been able to build off that moment, as I would say. But it's been a frustrating time for me and just training in general. Do you know what I mean? Because that's all I do. All I do is train. Like that's my life. Do you know what I mean? And training and fight. That's what I do for a living. So I don't do anything else. So it's kind of when you just want to do something, but you're not able. That was very frustrating for me. It's not so much that I'm annoyed that I didn't get to build after the fight or anything, but just that I couldn't get back into the gym and improve from that fight and improve just in general. That was frustrating. So it's been a frustrating year. So it has been. I've had numerous injuries, and that's just been taxing on my mind because I'm just sitting around and I'm not able to move because of injury and stuff like that. That was more frustrating than not able to build off the win. But I'm looking. It's going to be like freedom again. So it is. I'm buzzing to get back in there. I've never felt better in the gym, and I just really don't. It's like I don't care or something anymore. I'm just having fun with it, and I'm just rolling with it, and I don't really think about anything else but that, and I just don't give a bollocks, as you could say.
When did you feel 100%? Like how long ago? In this process, a month ago, 6 weeks ago, where you're like, okay, I'm out of the woods. I feel great. Let's go to work.
I'd say about 2.5, 3 months ago.
Okay. All right.
I'd say about that. I'd say about 3 months I'm full on training and get my body is up 100%, no injuries, no nothing. I'd say about maybe about 2.5 months, I would say, that I had been in the gym free. My body's been good and feeling great, and that. So now I said to myself, I'm going to do a solid just training with just get my body back, get better, improve in my game, and then do a fight. Jump into a fight once I start to feel good. Because what I've been doing before is I've been get my body better and jumping back into fight camp, and then bang, something else would happen. So then I've said to myself, right now I'm going to rest up my body, get back to the gym, build my body into it, focus on prehab training, focus on mobility kind of exercises, build up into the hard rounds, build up and just keep building and building and building on it until I'm at full on flight. And then now I'm in fight camp and now I'm ready to go, and I've never felt better.
You mentioned just the mental hurdle, so to speak, of being out and overcoming injuries. It is somewhat reminiscent of your friend Conor McGregor in the sense that he came in like a rocket and then had the knee injury and was out for a year as well. I'm wondering if you asked him for any advice on how to get over that and to not let it get to you.
Yeah, of course. You know what I mean? What I had wasn't as bad as what he had, so it was good to be able to see. I was there for his whole period of when he hurt his, so I was able to look and see what he was doing, and that's why it's always good when you work with the best, you become the best, because you can see what the best do, and they're when bad stuff happens, do you know what I mean? Only the best grow from that, and that's what Conor did, and I was able to watch what he was doing to grow from it, and I was able to ask him stuff and see that mindset, and it really just comes down to how much you want it. So it does. It's how much really do you want to be a world champion? That's what it comes down to. How much really do you want this? Are you willing to sit back and be frustrated and be in these dark places and not feeling good about yourself and not being able to do what you used to be able to do, and be able to have just everything just took out from underneath you? Do you know what I mean? I felt like I was on top of the world. I just was 20 years old, just won in Madison Square Garden. Do you know what I mean? I never felt better in that period of time, and then boom, just took him from me like in a blink of an eye. So I was working towards becoming main event in my hometown, and then I was just bang, took out from me. Do you know what I mean? So I'm pitching a bad place, but here I am. I beat it all, didn't I? And now here I am. I've came back from it, and I've never felt better. So that just shows how much I wanted that the people around me who see me down, who see me in that dark place. There's people who thought I wouldn't come back. There is people who thought that's it, done. You know what I mean? He can't take that. He can't do this, and it was hard. I'm not going to say it was easy. It was one of the hardest times in my life, but I'm back now. You know, and I'm getting back in there, and I feel like I'm going to show that in there. I'm going to have fun in there again. I'm going to enjoy that. I'm going to step back in there and just feel the canvas underneath your feet. When you step in, it's like it's different. It's like, oh, it's time to fight now. Do you know what I mean? It's that feeling of just stepping in there and the crowd and stuff, and I'm thriving for it. So I really can't wait to get back in there, and it's going to be fun.
Speaking of getting back, is Conor actively back in the gym these days? Is he helping you? Are you helping him? Are you guys working together?
Oh yeah, he's always taking away training, keeping in shape, and improving on himself. He's in the gym daily.
Good.
So it is, but he's just focusing on his shit and improving like we're all doing, getting better and better at each aspect of the game.
Has Bellator told you, James, that you win this fight, you will fight for the belt? Have they explicitly said that?
Yeah, I'm fighting for the belt. Once I go in there and beat this guy Ricky in a few weeks, I'm going to be fighting for the belt, and it's going to be in Europe.
It's going to be in Europe?
Yeah, I'm going to drag him over here, and I'm going to beat him in front of my own people.
It's rare that the challenger gets to call those kinds of shots. Why do you feel like they're going to go to, like, usually it's the champ who gets to fight on his turf?
Because when I was trying to get this fight, when we were in negotiations, we were in talks or whatever, and I was trying to create like a path for myself, what I'd done was I went and got everyone else in the division, and I pulled up all their viewership. So I did. I pulled up because they were always like hemming and hawing about, like, oh, you can't just do that, you can't do this. But I'm going to pull it up for you now. And the most views Darian Caldwell has ever got was 600,000, and that was on a loss. The most views he has ever got was on a loss to Joe Tamiaglio or something like this, and it was 600,000. Do you know what I mean? So he's a long, long way below me. So with someone who just gets them kind of numbers, he doesn't get to call Jack. He doesn't get to call anything, so he doesn't. So that's why I get to call the shots around here.
Okay, wow. And I see you even like commenting on Instagram. You feel like he's trying to avoid you, but it sounds like you're hopeful that he gets through this fight at 145, he'll come down to 135, and you can fight on your terms.
Well, if he comes or not, I'm fighting for the belt.
Okay.
If he can go running if he wants. Do you know what I mean? He can ditch his belt if that's what he wants to do. I don't give one fuck about him. He can go 145 and do his thing. He can do whatever he wants. I do not care about him. Whoever has that belt, after this fight, if it's vacant, it's mine. If it's Darian Caldwell's, I'm going to fight him, and the belt is also still going to be mine. So it doesn't. I don't care about what he does or what he wants to do. He can do whatever he wants. I'm just focusing on me, and I'm going to get that belt.
But it is nicer to beat the champ, no? I mean, like there is something to that, right?
Yeah, but is he the champ if he bounces? Would you call that a champion?
Yeah. Well, he was the last guy to win the belt, so yeah. I mean, people take fights in different weight classes, right? Maybe there just wasn't a good.
There's no problem jumping back up and taking a 45 fight, but if he has a set of balls, he'll come back down and fight me. If he has a set of balls, he'll come back down and fight me. If he goes running, if he doesn't come back down and fight me, he's a pussy, and he's all know that. Do you know what I mean? Who would do that? Who would do that in the prime of their career? Go and just drop the belt and bounce. You know what I mean? At least if he got beat or something, you know what I mean, or he moved up and fought for the 145-pound belt, I could see his point of leaving if he was going to fight for the 145 belt. But when you just bounce for a fight, you know what I mean? That's a pussy. But I don't know. We'll soon see after I beat Ricky, won't we? We'll see if he's a set of balls or not.
Well, the good news is you're fighting on the same card. That's the good news. So usually these things align nicely when you guys are on the same card. You fight first, he fights in the main event, and hopefully Bellator can have something going. I think that would be a nice shot in the arm for their bantamweight division. James, great to catch up with you. Happy that you're back. Good luck on August 17th. I'm looking forward to that fight and looking forward to seeing if you're able to get that title shot.
Thanks, Ariel. I really appreciate it. I look forward to being back on as the champ someday.
Yes.
It'll not be long. By the end of the year.
I look forward to that, James. Thank you.
Nice one, Ariel. Appreciate it, Ari.
All right, we'll talk to you soon. There he is, the Strabanimal himself, James Gallagher. And in fact, I was told that Strabane, where he is from, is like a sister city of where that fight is taking place in South Dakota. That's the rumor. That's what I was told. Let me get my my crack research staff on that, but that would be pretty incredible. And I was told that they kind of only found out about that after the fact, which is even crazier. So how about that? August 17th in South Dakota. I know UFC was there last year, had a nice show. Bellator coming back later on this summer. All right, let's continue the story about August 25th. So again, to recap, James Vick was supposed to fight Paul Felder. We heard from Paul Felder. Felder going to fight Mike Perry now because James Vick is now fighting on August 25th after Ali Quinta pulled out from the fight. We're going to hear from Justin Gaethje a little later on, but now let us say hello to James Vick, who is joining us via the magic of Skype. James, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. You made the media rounds today, James. You left us for last. Do you have anything left in you? I mean, really? Wow.
I got plenty more, man.
Okay.
Hey, I set those other interviews up earlier.
Okay, all right, fair enough, James. You know me, I get a little territorial, but it's great. It's great to have you on. What's that?
I said you're still my favorite.
Oh, thank you. I know you said that to all of them as well, so I don't know how much it means, but I'm happy for you, James. I know this is a big opportunity. This is an opportunity that you've wanted for quite some time. Tell us from your perspective how it all came about. When were you told about this? How did you secure the fight, the main event fight against Gaethje?
Yeah, it was Wednesday night, actually. After I got finished training, I went I was in the locker room getting dressed, getting ready to leave, and I checked my phone, and I had a missed call from Sean Shelby. And then he called back as I was looking through my phone, and he asked me 11 p.m. on Wednesday if I went around 11 p.m. if I wanted to take the fight, and I said yeah. And he said he'll get back to me and let me know for sure what's up within the next couple of hours. And he's like, the problem is you have to fly to Nebraska in the morning to do promotions for it. And I was like, I don't care, we'll make it work. And then so basically around 1 o'clock or 1 a.m. I knew for sure I was getting the fight. And then 4 a.m. I had to leave for the airport, and I had to be at the airport around 4 a.m. and I had to leave at 6 a.m. to go to Nebraska. So I just stayed up all night, washed my clothes, didn't even go to sleep, just pulled an all-nighter and flew there to do promotional stuff.
Wow. I could imagine you were probably jazzed up, like you had a lot of, energy. You didn't really mind missing sleep.
Yeah, no, I was amped up anyway. I tried to lay down. I had about an hour in between after I got done washing and drying my clothes and packing everything. I had about an hour. I could have took a nap, but I couldn't even go to sleep. I laid there and I just couldn't go to sleep. So then I just went to the airport.
You were scheduled to fight July 14th, which is in less than 2 weeks against Paul Felder in Boise. now you have to time yourself differently. Like, are you afraid? Like, people may not think of things this way. They kind of view you guys as rock'em sock'em robots, that you're just interchangeable. But there is a science to trying to peak at the right time. Now, obviously, you get more time, but you have to take your foot off the gas a little bit, right?
Yeah, and I flew back home. So when I left Nebraska, I flew straight back to Texas. So I'm going to be here for about 9 or 10 days, chilling. Now, obviously, I'm still training. Like I already trained this morning. I'm training tonight as well, but maybe not quite as intense. I had rested up, and I didn't train on Thursday or Friday because I was doing the promotional thing. So I'm resting. I train twice a day year round. Even when I don't have a fight scheduled, I do. So it's not a huge difference, but obviously the intensity will be a little less, for the next week or so, and then get back on it with more intensity or whatever. But I'm ready to fight right now, and this is a 5-round fight, so obviously you got to train a little different for that as well. But I could fight the guy right now, so I'll definitely be ready in 7 more weeks.
Forget about main event for a second. Which matchup did you like better, the Felder matchup or Gaethje?
Well, they're two different matchups, but I don't know which one I like. Well, I like the Gaethje fight because it's a bigger name and a bigger stage. But I think Felder is just as good or a better fighter than Gaethje, to be honest with you. But he's smarter, so it would have been harder to finish Felder. Felder's never really been knocked out. He's only lost decisions. I felt like I could have outpointed Felder all day. Maybe I could have caught him with a knockout or a submission. But I felt like I could have outpointed Felder all day. But Gaethje's going to get knocked out because Gaethje's not going to stay on the outside. He don't have any defense, and he's just going to come in. And I think he's going to be way easier to knock out than Felder would have been, for sure.
What's up with you and Gaethje? I see him talking about your chicken legs, and you responding to him. What's going on there? Is there bad blood?
Ariel, come on. Where you been the last year, man?
I mean, but like, where's the impetus? Like, where how did this all start?
Well, basically, it started, obviously, man, I try not to be a talker and all that, but I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. And basically he gets on the microphone, his UFC debut, and says, talks about how, who's my equal? He's like, who's my equal? I'm waiting to find my equal. So of course I'm sitting cage side at that time during the fight, International Fight Week. And I walk up to Sean Shelby and I was like, I want that fight. And then I went on Twitter and I started talking about him. I mean, you're in here calling the best fighters in the world that you don't think someone's going to reply, Yeah. And then from there he saw it and then he replied back, and we've been going back and forth for about a year now talking.
Wow.
And now he's, now that we're fighting, I guess it's even better.
This is great. Now, you saw him in Nebraska. Were you guys ever in the same room?
No, we weren't. No, I never saw him at all. They knew better than that because this clown tried to say he was going to slap me, but if he would have, the next time he saw me, he said he was going to slap me in an interview a while back. But yeah, they knew better because I would have whipped his ass if they put us close to each other.
Do you think that was done because of the bad blood, or was that always the plan? Like, even if it was like, do you think they purposely did not make you? Because usually when they do these like promotional tours, there's at least 1 or 2 interviews where you guys are sitting together.
Oh, for sure. It was because of the bad blood.
Okay.
They knew that history, and they knew that. Because I straight up told him, I said, if this dude walks up near me, I'm gonna stick him in his mouth. I was like, he's a clown. He's talking all this shit on social media. I was like, you better keep us away from each other. And I'm sure that they already knew that. They was well aware of that. When they talked to us, they said, we're gonna make sure you are in different hotels and all that too.
Okay. Do you feel like this is, as opposed to last year, an even better time to fight Justin Gaethje? Because now someone put it this way, I don't remember who, but the seal has been broken. He's been knocked out twice. Things change after you're knocked out, right? Things change after you're finished, after you suffer your first 2 losses. Now you're catching him on the tail end of a 2-fight losing streak, as opposed to that long winning streak he was on. Is this a better time to fight him?
I mean, it just depends. I think things change for certain people when they get knocked out, and I think him. I mean, I've been knocked out before, and I bounced back, and I've won 4 fights in a row, and I was been tearing up. But also, my style doesn't depend on me just being able to take beatings. I think it affects him worse than with someone like me or someone else who's just a different style of fighter. Because when you're dependent on you taking 50, 100 shots to the head before you break a guy's leg down, then yeah, it does change, I think, psychologically for him. But I mean, he was getting knocked out regardless. The problem with him is the guys. everyone's delusional. This guy is not a world class fighter, and I'm going to show this. This guy he has world class heart. He's a world class. He's a dog. He's a warrior. He's not a punk. Justin Gaethje's not a punk. Why he's a fan favorite. He's very exciting. I mean, I like watching the guy fight. But at the end of the day, he's not a world class fighter, and he's showing he's fought B-level competition outside of this organization, and he's 1-2 in the UFC, is what he is. And he's not a world class fighter. He's going to get exposed. There's going to be a major class difference here, technically and skill set wise. He fights the way he fights because he has no choice. He has no physical attributes. He's slow. He's unathletic. He's flat footed. He has no choice but to fight the way he fights. So, I mean, it's exciting style. I understand why he's a fan favorite, but the dude's not a world-class fighter. He shouldn't even be ranked in the top 10. He's 1-2 in the UFC.
Does that drive you nuts that he's ranked above you?
It's not that he's ranked above me. I mean, that he's even the rankings are a joke to me. It bothers me that he's ranked above me, but he shouldn't be ranked above Felder. He shouldn't be ranked above anybody. He's 1-2 in the organization. You fought every guy you fought outside of the organization would not even be ranked in the top 40. How do you think you're a world-class fighter? You're not.
Why do you think he is then? Why do you think people consider him that?
Because he's exciting, and he had a huge following from the World Series of Fighting. He was the face of their organization for 3 years. He's a big ticket seller. I understand. I'm not saying. Here's the thing. This is where people don't understand. I'm not disagreeing that Justin Gaethje is not worthy of main events. His style and excitement alone, he deserves main event fights. He just don't deserve to be ranked anymore. There's a difference in the two. I agree. I would watch this guy fight any day of the week. He's an exciting fighter. But he's not a world-class fighter. He doesn't deserve to be ranked in the top 10, and he's not one of the best fighters in the world. He's not.
So you kind of view this as your opportunity to finally rid the top 10 of Justin Gaethje, to expose him that he's not on that level?
I mean, I think that's already been clear that he that he can't sit there and, of course everyone's going to be like, well, the two guys he lost to are really good guys and this and that. And I agree, they're great fighters. But that goes to show you that all the attributes Justin Gaethje has with heart and will and being a warrior, there's plenty of us that have that. Poirier had it. Eddie Alvarez had it when they beat him. They bit down on their mouthpiece and they beat the dude. But there's plenty of us that have it, but we have skill sets that we don't have to fight like that. He has no choice.
You're doing the UFC a solid here. You're taking this fight on somewhat short notice. You accepted it right before the tickets went on sale for media and things like that. Were you able to get a little more money out of it?
Not really. I mean, you get more for the 2 rounds, but yeah. I mean, I took the fight. I wasn't able to really get more money out of the deal. And I didn't even, to be honest with you, I didn't even try on this one. Okay. My contract is pretty good. It's not what it's never going to be what you want, but after this fight is when I'm going to talk to him because, I mean, I'm not going to turn down a main event spot. And I felt like if I would have rushed it and said, no, I want more money first, maybe they would have offered Felder the fight instead, Sure. So, I'm not going to turn down a main event fight. This fight ain't going 5 rounds. We're not going to make it for 5 rounds. There ain't no way. And, I'm not turning down a main event spot. So after this fight, I think that, I believe that my career is really going to take off and I'm going to have some leverage then. And then I'm going to come back and talk to him.
Aren't you coming to the end of your contract?
No, because I just signed a new deal.
Oh, really?
Before this fight, I signed a new 4-fight deal.
Ah, you were coming to the end, right?
I had 2 fights left after the fight with Felder. I would have had 1 fight left. Yes.
Oh, and you signed, and why didn't you want to play it out?
Because what I got was pretty close to what I wanted.
Okay.
It wasn't quite, but it was pretty close. But also, I knew that if I waited out, then the money I was going to get at the end of it for fighting it out wouldn't have been way more. It would have been more, but it wouldn't have been way more to cover those other 2 fights that I would have fought at the lower rate. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. All right. So you felt like it was just worth it to get it over with.
And I feel like I'm going to be a world champion within these next 4 fights anyway. So, then the contract changes anyway.
Well, this certainly expedites things, right? Now that you go right, you're what is Gaethje even ranked? I don't really pay attention to those rankings
He's
much.
ranked number 7.
Number 7.
He's ranked number 7.
And what are you?
I'm ranked number 11.
Number 11. Wow, that's got to piss you off. Come on.
It doesn't piss me off. It's a joke. I mean, it's delusional. One guy, I'm 9-1, and he in the UFC. Like, so I don't care if you're 17-0 with the UFC. I don't mean you're 1-2 in the UFC, and I'm 9-1, and you're ranked above me. Come on, it's a joke.
Okay, so we go. So then we go to number 7. If all goes well on the 25th. So you're right. 2-3 fights. You're right where you want to be.
For sure, for sure. Maybe one more fight after this one. Hopefully, in a perfect world, we're going to see who I can get after this fight to agree to fight me. Who the UFC tries to get me to fight. Obviously, I'm probably going to. I'm not afraid of any of these guys. They're the one turning out fights with me, not the other way around.
Right.
So I'm just hopefully after this fight, maybe one more, definitely two.
I know over the past year you have been frustrated. You've been calling people out left and right. You feel like you can finally see the light at the end of the tunnel here. Like you can finally see, okay, there is an end to this. I will finally get a title shot, because it seemed like for a while you were just kind of aimlessly wandering, winning fights, but there was no real ladder there to tell you where to go and how far you had to go to get that title shot.
Yeah, for sure. It was really frustrating. It was getting to a point where in my mind I was even thinking after this fight with Felder, if they try to offer me someone ranked below me, I was just going to tell them move me up to 170.
Oh wow!
Because why would I continue to cut weight and do this for no career advancement? You know what I'm saying? If I'm not moving up and my career's not advancing, what the hell's the point? You know what I'm saying? That had crossed my mind. I was like, but I mean, at the end of the day, in my mind, I really believe it's my destiny to be a world champion. And I know that, things may have delayed my destiny, but I really believe nothing can stop it. And after this fight, I'm going to be 10-1 in the UFC. That's a better record than everybody else in my whole division except Tony Ferguson and Khabib. Tony Ferguson is 13-1 and Khabib is 10-0. So I'll have a better record than everyone else, UFC record than everyone else in the whole division. So maybe I can get Tony Ferguson. Maybe I get the winner of Poirier and Alvarez. Since Khabib and Conor are probably fighting, let me get one of those guys. I'll wait till early next year or the end of the year, whenever Tony Ferguson come back. I'd love to fight Tony Ferguson.
Congrats on getting the fight, James. Looking forward to it. August 25th. James Vick finally getting that main event shot, long overdue, against Justin Gaethje. Looking forward to it, and well done getting the fight that you've been looking for. I
appreciate it. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm optimistic for the future.
All right, man. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much. There he is, James Vick, stopping by. Great opportunity for him. He takes that fight on relatively short notice. Of course, he was scheduled to fight on July 14th, I should say. So it's not too bad, but what an opportunity for him. You know that he has been asking for an opportunity like this. You know that he has been calling people out left, right, and center, and now finally he gets a main event slot. And some interesting, I remember that now that memory serves me correct, the Twitter back and forth with him and Gaethje after Gaethje won his UFC debut a year ago. Remember, it was I believe it was July 7th to be exact. So it was almost a year ago, the Friday night before UFC 226 against Michael Johnson. Since then, he has lost twice, most recently to Dustin Poirier. So big opportunity for James Vick, and we'll talk to Justin Gaethje in our third hour. For now, though, let us turn our attention back to UFC 226. One of the big fights this weekend features our next guest. He was supposed to fight Yancy Medeiros. We find out mid last week, Yancy Medeiros suffered a fractured rib, and in enters Paul Felder, who we just heard from around an hour ago. We're talking about Mike Perry, a fan favorite. Everyone loves watching Platinum Perry fight, and this time there's a whole new layer to him. So let's go back to the Skype machine and say hello to our old friend, Mike Platinum Perry. There he is in the sauna. Wow. Mike, how are you?
Feeling good, bro. How you doing, Ariel?
I'm doing great. It's great to see you. You're looking good, man. Good shape, good spirit, smile on your face. How are we feeling?
I'm great, man. I don't like it as much when I can't see you too, but it's all good.
I know, Mike. We're going to work on that. That's been a big complaint. We're working on that. It's a new time for us here. We're at ESPN now, Mike. Did you hear the news?
I know. That's great, man. Congratulations to you and the rest of all of us fighters who get to get in front of a sports network that truly cares about its athletes and, treats us like superheroes, man.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Mike. By the way, is it safe to have your phone in the sauna? I feel like it's going to explode.
No, it'll be okay, bro. I'll be all right. But, hey, I got a question. You might have the answer. I saw a picture of the card Saturday night. And the one picture that I saw was I was on the Fight Pass prelims, and I was like the first fight of the night. That's not the case, is it?
I mean, unless they switch things around, I would be shocked if they did that. From my understanding, you were on the FS1 prelims.
All right. I hope it goes down that way.
Yeah, I mean, that would be crazy. I mean, Platinum Perry against Paul Felder, that's crazy. Okay, we have a lot to talk to you about, Mike. Let's start at the beginning here. You did this camp out of Jackson Wink in Albuquerque. Why?
Well, I got to say it was the right choice. It was when I started fighting, I always wanted to travel the world or travel the country and train with the best camps. And I'm a fan of John Jones, and I think he's one of the best fighters ever. So I went to his gym, or a gym that we knew that he was training at. So to work with his people, and then I met some great coaches there. I got to know Wink and Greg Jackson, and I bonded well with Frank the Tank Lester. He's a great coach, great fighter, great athlete. Man, he still, as a coach, he still puts the gloves on and puts in work with us, so I could actually feel his movement, not just have to listen to his thoughts on why I should do something or move a certain way. And he's tightened up my game. Not.
Oh. Someone may have called Mike. This is something that happens from time to time when we're on the magic of Skype. We'll reconnect with him here in a second. I don't believe in the history of doing this show that we've ever had someone join us via the sauna. And being the nervous Nelly that I am, I'm always worried about bringing my phone in the sauna. The infrequent times that I have been inside a sauna, because I'm always afraid that the phone is going to explode. It's very hot here in New York. And yesterday my phone was very hot. In fact, they're telling me that the phone may have overheated. We're going to reconnect with Mike here in a second. It makes me very nervous in the sauna. I mean, it's a great shot. He's sweating. He looks to be in phenomenal shape, but it just makes me very nervous. We're going to get him back in a matter of moments. So, yes, as he did say, he was at Jackson Wink. He trained for this fight at Jackson Wink. Obviously in need of a victory. Has lost his last two in a row. Fought Santiago Ponzinibbio in December. Followed that up with the fight against Max Griffin. Took a little bit of time off, but I don't think as much as people expected. And then changed things up. Went to Albuquerque. One of the best gyms in the world, still, till this day. And he was supposed to fight Medeiros, as I said. Now a big opportunity to fight Paul Felder. And, of course, he needs to get back on track. And there was some talk that Donald Cerrone was being considered. I know he was being considered, but there were two issues there. First off, he had the medical suspension, A. B, he just became a dad. And so mazel tov to him and his fiancée. And C, they've actually trained together. Cerrone fighting out of the Jackson Wink gym, and Perry now as well. Although Frank Lester, who Mike Perry was just talking about, actually posted on Instagram a conversation between them, and they all seem to be on board. Let's go back to Mr. Perry here in a matter of moments. He is joining us via the magic of Skype. He is back. Mike, are you there?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Ariel. You were right. I shouldn't have been in the sauna.
What happened?
I was trying to kill two birds with one stone, man.
What happened? The phone blew up?
It got hot.
As I suspected. Is this a nuisance for you, or are you okay to do this standing up like this?
No, I'm great. I could sit down. There are chairs. I'm at the UFC Performance Institute. I'm in the locker room right now.
Okay. Looks nice. All right, well, let's get back to Jackson Wink. So you went there, and you're happy. Are you going to stay there? Is this your new team?
I'll tell you what, man. I think I'm going to, when I get all this money this weekend, I'm going to look for a property out here in Las Vegas and come to the Institute more. I'm going to fly my boy Frank the Tank out. He's going to still work with me, but he'll have to come to Vegas to work with me. I'm sure he doesn't mind. And I think my new life is going to be out here in Las Vegas, or a new part of it, man. I really enjoy myself out here.
Wow, so no more Florida.
No, man. I'll have to go visit and stuff, and I'll definitely have to go check out Volcano Bay every now and then. Plus, I got the family there.
Sure.
But I think Vegas is my new path right now.
So what will be your team? So you won't be going to Albuquerque anymore?
Man, I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna call it.
Okay.
Maybe Platinum opens his own gym.
Yes, Team Platinum.
Platinum Tank.
Yes.
There's Tank right there.
What's
Tank
up, Frank?
Life, baby. What's up, Ariel?
How are you, Frank? Good to see you. Best of luck to you guys.
Hey, I can't wait to see you this weekend. We're gonna kick some ass, man. I love Paul Felder. That's my boy. But
can we cuss? Can we cuss on here?
Live, I think so. But after the fact, they'll bleep it out, I think.
Oh, okay. We're good then.
Yeah. I appreciate you looking out, Mike. Who's cornering you for this fight?
Frank.
Yeah.
Jackson and Winklejohn.
Okay, look at Frank shadow boxing there, and he's all fired up. That's great. Did you get a chance to work out with John Jones, with some of the legends there?
No, man. I didn't get to work out with John, but let's see, who did I work out with? Well, I got to do some work with Lando Venata.
Oh yeah.
He's great. I got to work with Cowboy Cerrone. And, I mean, there was a lot of talent there, man. A lot of guys are very skilled who the world might not know. There was a Bellator fighter came in, this Russian kid. I think his name is like Yari. He's 19-0.
Okay. He
was legit, man, 19-0, and it was real. So he was pretty good. It was a pleasure working with him. And there are other guys that were there, like I said, that people might not know, but there's a lot of talent. Diego Sanchez, he's an amazing training partner, man. He'll push you to the limit for sure.
Were you worried when Medeiros pulled out that you wouldn't have an opponent, that you'd be off the card?
No, I knew with a week's time because, you know, when Thiago pulled out, I had 3 days and somebody stepped up. People want that money. You know, they may not realize exactly that paycheck might not be worth what they're signing up for, but it is what it is. They're going to cut that half of that paycheck, and they're going to, you know, they will not have fun. They will not enjoy this. It will not be over quick. And, you know, there will be lots of pain and suffering.
How do you feel about going from Medeiros to Paul Felder?
I mean, either way, it's the same thing. I got to go in there and work the way that I plan to work. So I'm going to fight the way I'm going to fight, no matter who I'm fighting against. And, I mean, there's a little bit different style between the two. Mm-hmm. More boxing from Yancey, more kicks from Paul Felder. But I think Yancey was the better grappler. If I have to grab Paul, you know, I beat up on lightweights all the time in grappling. So probably going to see me take this guy down too.
You feel like you'll be the bigger, stronger guy because he's typically a 155er?
Yeah, I'm not necessarily always the bigger guy, but I'm always the stronger guy.
Yeah. Now
always stronger.
We're going to a fight. Of course, you've dropped your last two. Does this one feel a little different? Do you feel more urgency, a little more pressure to get back on track?
No, man, there's less pressure, man. It's I like what Gokhan Saki put on his Instagram. He don't feel pressure, he puts pressure. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna put the pressure on Paul Felder, and we're gonna scrap. And it's anywhere between 13 seconds and 13 minutes. He's going to sleep.
I haven't talked to you since the Orlando fight, since before the Orlando fight when you were in studio. What was that night like for you? Because I know that was a big deal to fight in Orlando, and you were heavy. You know, people were really excited. You were kind of the show. You were the local draw, and Max Griffin, you know, was being somewhat overlooked, and for it to not go your way. How did you deal with that? How was it?
To be honest with you,
yeah,
I don't think I was ready yet to believe. I don't think I really wanted it. The win, I think that's why I didn't win. You know, there were a lot of people like counting on me and acting like, you know, all the hard work I put in the gym is like for them. But this has always been for me. Fighting is something a lonely person does who has a very small circle. And, you know, there were 20,000 people in that stadium looking for me to put on a show for them, and I did put on a show for them. We all like to get a little up. So I went in there and I got up, and it was fun. I had a great time. But now all the signs are here. I believe in myself 120%. I'm so ready for everything that's going to come after this, and I'm going to be a millionaire soon from this fight. My hands are going to give me everything I've ever asked for, and I'm going to be the best.
So that team in Orlando, you're done with them?
No, absolutely not. That's family.
Okay.
They were the only ones I wish I could have won for, because they're there in the gym with me putting in the hard work. They put in the time. They're always there. But, I believe some things happened, like they started just letting me do it my way, and they weren't telling me no. See, the thing about me and Frank, we've been arguing with each other, and he'll argue back with me, and he'll tell me, no, it's got to be like this. And I'll say, I don't know. What if it's like this? And he'll be like, but then this and this happens. So you should bring that foot up a little more. And he'll tell me no. You know what I'm saying? My people may have turned a little bit yes men on me. And that's no disrespect on them. That's just the way I see it now. And Frank not going to let me be that way. He's a different cat, man. He's a smart dude. He's a good coach. He's young in the mind still, and he's having fun with it. So we're going to go out there and we're going to have a good time Saturday. I mean, all week, man, we're going to have a good time. See, I used to come out here to camps, and I used to shut myself down and be like, oh, I got to fight this weekend. I can't do that, or I can't do this. But I'm relaxed, and I'm just going to live my life, enjoy the hell out of my life, and I'm going to go out here and enjoy this fight and have a great time in that octagon.
You still feel like you have the support from the people, or do you feel like with the 2-fight losing streak, people have jumped off the bandwagon a bit?
You know what I'm saying? It don't matter, bro.
All right.
It doesn't even matter.
By the way, I thought it was super cool that you reached out to Darren Till. You were giving him props on Instagram. He shared that. You guys are cool.
I mean, we still want to kill each other.
Sure.
You, Darren Till.
But that was a nice win over Wonder Boy, right?
Yeah, I mean, man, it was a boring ass fight.
Okay.
I was entertained, but I wouldn't watch it again. I wouldn't watch that fight again.
What about Colby Covington? I personally thought he went too far with his comments about your ex-girlfriend. I thought that was uncalled for.
Man, who's thinking about that still? Colby likes to lay on people. He's the safest fight in the division. Right. He's just going to lay on me. I mean, he did almost rip off Dos Anjos' ear, but my ear don't look like that. So, Colby, too.
You're back. Mike Perry's back. I feel like you're back.
I'm back, baby. Let's go.
I like it. Last time it was weird. You didn't have facial hair. You cut this looks. You're back. This is you.
That's it right here,
you got the
baby.
Nice haircut. You got some lines in your hair. You're feeling good. You got a huge smile on your face in the sauna.
I'm ready to go to work, man. I've been doing this for so long. It's been a long 27 years, but my time is now, and I believe it.
You feel like it's all coming together for this fight?
I believe in it.
Have you had an opportunity to fight on one of these big Vegas cards? Off the top of my head.
202. UFC 202, my debut,
right.
and I killed
right.
I stole the show, baby.
Yes, somewhat short notice. I remember you came in with the 3-piece suit. Not a lot known about you, but this one feels a little different.
I stole the show.
Mike?
And I got the chance to do it again.
Yeah, and you've got Greg Jackson, Frank Lesnar in your corner. I mean, you've got an all-star crew.
Absolutely. They might not get the opportunity to talk to me in between rounds, but we'll see what happens. If they do, I want to see what they have to say in between rounds. I want to see what coaches who have been in the highest level fights say to their fighter in between rounds.
Sure. Last thing for you, Mike. Was it true that Cerrone was being considered, and would that have been weird at all, considering you're from the same camp?
Hey, go check Frank Lister's Instagram. He's got the text messages.
Yes.
I talked to Cowboy on the phone before we got to Felder. Unfortunately, he had that cut on his eye, and he's suspended. But he was like, all I ask you, bring it. And I was like, you got it. Let's do it. That would have been great. But, Paul Felder's a good fight, too. Frank knows Cowboy. Frank knows all these guys. Frank knows Paul Felder. And, as the best fighters in the world happen to know each other. We're just going to do what we do, and we're going to put on a show for the sport of fighting.
All right.
Hey, Ariel, now that you're at the top of the game working for ESPN,
yes.
You know, I'm not going to lie, I'm a little sad that you don't follow the best coach in the game on Instagram and Twitter.
Wait, I follow Brandon Gibson on Instagram and Twitter.
Hey, Frank Lester's the best coach in the game. Who are you talking to?
I'm kidding. I will rectify that in a matter of moments, Frank. How about that?
My man, I can't wait to see you Saturday. We're going to put on a hell of a show, Ariel. You watch.
I look forward to it.
I got to say, my boy Julian Williams would probably take Frank Lester down and, try to rip his arm off, though.
Mike, it's great to see you. Thank you for doing this from in the sauna, out of the sauna. It's always great to catch up with you. I'm looking forward, and I'm happy that you remained on the card. You were a big part of it.
Absolutely, man. Thank you, Ariel. Thanks for talking to me. Thank you, ESPN. Thank you, Reebok. Thank you, Body Armor. And thank you to the UFC, man. Let's go to work.
Much love. All right, we'll see you soon, Mike. All the best to you. There he is, Mike Platinum Perry, the one and only. There is only one Platinum Perry. Great stuff from him. Thank you to Frank the Tank for stopping by as well. And there you have it. He seems to be in a good place. Seems to be happy. Says that maybe he wasn't ready. Quick turnaround. I remember that fight in Orlando against Max Griffin. It was a very quick turnaround, and some people thought maybe a little too quick, but here he is 5 months later, a little less than 5 months, getting an opportunity to reinvent himself against one Paul Felder. What a great fight that is, and a nice opportunity for Paul Felder not to cut a lot of weight. All right. Earlier in the show, we spoke to Alimale McFarlane, who's the Bellator women's flyweight champion. Matter of moments, we're going to be joined by one of the top women's flyweight fighters in the UFC. Her name is Jessica Ai. She had a big win 2 weekends ago against Jessica Rose Clark in Singapore, and now she has won her last 2 in a row. She defeated Kalindra Faria in her 125 debut for the UFC back in January, and these 2 wins massively important, not only because the 2 wins in a row, but because she was stuck in a 4-fight losing streak. Now she is fired up, she is excited, and we are moments away from talking to. Okay, now we're good. All right, cool. So let us go back to the Magic of Skype and say hello to Evil Eye herself, Jessica Ai. Hello, Jessica. How are you?
Hi guys, how are you?
I'm doing great. And where are you joining us from today, Jessica?
My living room.
But in what state?
Ohio.
Oh.
Good old Cleveland, Ohio.
How do we feel on this Monday after our prodigal son, LeBron James, has said goodbye? Is it different? I'm just curious. I haven't talked to anyone in Cleveland. Could you give us a sense of what it's like?
Well, a lot of my friends are really pissed off, but, he did what he said he was going to do for Cleveland, and he did it. So, this is a sport where, the athletes have to think about themselves. So I think that he made this decision for himself and not for the city this time.
So as far as Jessica Ai is concerned, no hard feelings? You're not going to burn a LeBron jersey later today and put it on Instagram?
I don't even have a LeBron jersey to burn.
Okay.
It's like I'm sure he doesn't have a Jessica Ai walkout tee. So, it just is what it is, and it makes it better chances for me and Stipe to kind of take over the reins of the popularity in Cleveland. So
yes.
Move over LeBron. Stipe and Jess are filling in.
Okay, so let's talk about you. Big win in Singapore, and I must say, Jessica, and I was talking to someone who knows you after the fact. You were fired up. I mean, you're typically fired up. Like, you're always a great interview, but after that win, you were super fired up. Like, you let it all out, and it seemed like you had a chip on your shoulder. Like, you really wanted to get a point across. Why were you so fired up?
There was a lot of reasons, some for some personal reasons, on my end, the fact that, my team got really split up with mine and Stipe the past 2 fight camps, have been very challenging. Me and Stipe both fought 2 weeks apart from each other. And I think that, it kind of separated our team a little bit. I didn't get to have the full coaching staff out there because of it. So, that kind of had me fired up. That was something that, brought some passion to it. Also having to leave 2 weeks out to be acclimated to fight in Singapore. I mean, anybody who fought in that card can tell you, like, that wasn't an easy transition. And I had to go out ahead of time, so I had to leave my dogs. Like, I felt like I have done everything that was asked of me, through the UFC. And in that way that I just felt like they were kind of putting me in a position to lose. And, I just wanted to, I don't know, I guess I got really emotional after watching it. Like, I was super emotional, but I wanted to win. I have only been a bantamweight because, I thought that I could hang up there, and it was the only place to go. When Bellator cut their women's division years ago, I had nowhere else to go. And I wasn't making 25 as easy as I am now back then. So I felt like, maybe going to 35 was worth it. And it wasn't, like a lot of things happened. Like, I think emotionally I took a beating, losing a lot at bantamweight, and, just the way that the media portrays us fighters when we lose, like, and as well as the fans, right? Like, they're harsh on us when we lose. And in all reality, I should have never been a bantamweight. I should have stayed flyweight. I should have waited it out, and maybe my life would have been a little bit different. Maybe I'd be a little different, but I mean, I guess it's hindsight. I'm 2 wins now into the flyweight division, and I believe I will win all the way until I retire now.
So you're no stranger to winning streaks. Prior to that, those 4 fights, you were on a nice run, but you appreciate this 2-fight, this little mini winning streak now more because of what you've been through, because of the 4-fight losing streak that came before it?
Yeah, I totally do. I think that I found a better me now, and I feel like people don't understand how hard it is to go from all those losses. I mean, every loss was a little bit different. Sometimes they would hurt me. They hurt my coaches. They hurt some of our relationships because, they didn't want to see me sad anymore, and in all reality, like, it wasn't because I was going out there and get out horsepowered or well outmatched. It was just wrong weight class. And I think that going through those losses, it was hard for the coaches. It was hard for me. It was hard on my pockets, but, I just feel like I knew that something was going to change. And when change came, that was what I knew I was holding on to and what kept me kind of moving forward. So in that sense, I've taken that in these last 2 fights. I want the life that I believe I deserve, and I want to, show it by winning the fights I deserve to get. That's all of them at flyweight.
Right. We talked to Stipe about you last week. Why don't they just put you, if it's easier, like, do you have the clout, or does he have the clout to say, put us on the same card? It's just easier for our team, especially if you're fighting so close.
I think that we had made it work the last time, right? Like, when he fought Ngannou in Boston, we fought. That wasn't so bad, right? Like, because that's in the U.S. That's not Singapore. That's 23 hours away from home, here in Cleveland, and from everybody. Not to mention a 12-hour time difference, and all of it. So, I followed his lead like he did when he fought Mark Hunt. He went out there early time, did that. So when I did the Singapore thing, it was, I had to leave 2 weeks out from the fight, and it was then, so far away from Stipe's camp, but still close enough that, it just couldn't work. You know what I mean? Like, when we fought in January at the Ngannou fight, Marcus came out 2 days late, and I was there normal fight week with other coaches. So we were able to make do with it. This, like, it was way too far. Like, it's Singapore, so I was lucky enough to take my one training partner, Kobe, with me. And, he's a high level wrestler, an All-American. So I was able to get the physical training out there, but, I didn't get my mitt coaches until Thursday there in Singapore. Not to mention it takes 2 days to travel to get there. So it was just a mess, and I think it, taught me a lot about myself. It taught me that, everything that Marcus and those guys have been teaching me, everybody at Strong Style has been helping me with. The system works. I just had to implicate it by myself across the country.
What was it like being in Singapore, other than the annoyance of being so far away? And like, for 2 weeks in Singapore, what was that like for you?
Well, I started to crack up towards the end. So did my training partner. I mean, I think it was just different. The whole world was different. The accessibility that we get here in America, I don't think people understand how amazing we are. Like, if you just want to go to the grocery store to go get something, you just get in the car and you go, or you take a bus. Like, it's not like that there. There's a lot of street food. Like, there's not big grocery stores. There's lots of small markets that you can go get food. So it was a culture shock for me, not to mention being away from my dogs, who are like my best friends, like my teammates, like, it was a lot. It was just, it was a completely different lifestyle in every single way. And I'm glad I did it. You know, I think it made me grow up a lot, you know, and I think that it helped my training partner grow up, but I think it helped my coaching staff realize, you know, how close we all really are, and we want to keep it that way. And, you know, I probably won't be in Vegas this week because the travel was so much for me last week. Like, if I go to Vegas this week, it's going to be the last minute, and it's going to be there for Stipe. It's not for publicity or for anything else, you know. Like, if they wanted me out there, they would have made sure I was out there with my dog. So I think that I might end up sitting this one out too.
Does that bum you out?
I mean, yeah, you know, of course. Like, I wish I could be there. You know, my dogs have the right license; they can go anywhere in the U.S. So, I mean, yeah, it might be kind of nice to go out there for the weekend, but you know, my foot's still kind of messed up from the fight. I am on a suspension. I know people have been asking about that. It's not broke, but you know, I did a lot more kicking leading up to this fight, so my foot had some problems, and my toe had some problems. So maybe it's a blessing in disguise. I won't be walking around, you know, Vegas for those extra couple of days and just get that extra rest that I need.
Were you happy with your performance overall against Jessica Rose Clark?
Yeah, I mean, well, I feel like I fought Jessica exactly the way that I needed to fight Jessica to beat her. Did I do some of the things that I wanted to do? No. Did I see the openings the way I thought that they were going to come? You know, either no. But I also think she fought me different. Like, compared to what I'd seen in her last fights, I felt like she fought me different when we got in there. And I think that my speed was a challenge for her. And I forgot how fast my hands are when I'm this light. So it was kind of nice to see that.
And so after the fact, I know you were fired up, but like, to me right now, you look at the 125 division, I don't feel like you're that far away from being, you know, in that discussion. Now that the dust is settled.
No, I think I mean, why not, right? Like, why not? Like, what are the girls that have the experience in the UFC the way that I do, as well as the fights in the UFC that I do? I mean, yeah, I've had some controversy, but what doesn't make for a little bit of good controversy to make for a fun story? But I don't see why I can't have it the next fight. In September, Shevchenko and Nico are fighting. You know, I need to renegotiate my contract. I mean, why not? You know, I fought in Barb Honchak years ago, beat her as an amateur. You know, I don't see that being the fight that people want to see. People want to see a fight like me and Valentina. We're gamers. We're the big girls. We're the only two girls in the division that are being successful at flyweight, and we're successful at flyweight before we even came up. You know, and all of our losses and stuff are at bantamweight in the UFC. I mean, isn't that where it should be? Should my losses be in the biggest organization in the world, not outside of it? So right. I think that people kind of hard on me about it, but at the same time, you know, I wouldn't have lost the decisions to all the best girls in the UFC that there, you know, is. And what's left, you know, there's me and Valentino, so, you know, and she's a beast. Why wouldn't I want to fight a girl like her to showcase what I'm really good at?
Are you a free agent? Is your contract up? You mentioned renegotiating.
No, I got one fight, but I don't see why we don't renegotiate that so that, you know, we can, you know, talk with Dana and, you know, and Shelby and Mick and all those guys and figure out what's next. You know, I have been a free agent in the sense of management for a long time. And I feel like I've reached out to the right guy that can help me. And I need to make some changes. You know, at first I felt like things could have went one or two different ways. And first winning the first fight at 25 was like, all right, guys, like I told you I was good at 25. This is where I needed to be. And then this fight was like, okay, I know you guys wanted me to lose, but I'm not going to lose because I'm really good at 25. And that little chip that is on my shoulder is well-deserved and hard-earned through probably one of the worst, you know, years of my life. So, yeah, why not? I mean, why not? Why not? I'm pretty. I'm nice. I speak from my heart, and you know, I want people to like that about me, and I want people to see that. You know, I'm not a loser because I lost at bantamweight. You know, like there's so much more to me.
Who's that guy that you reached out to?
Well, I don't know if I'm supposed to say that, but it's the same guy that set up this interview for me. So
well, I you know, for the public, if you don't want to say it, it's all good.
Yeah, you know, I think you guys are gonna see it. You know, I'd like to give him a formal introduction myself on my social media.
Fair enough.
Before I go there, but he's great, and he works with a fellow old Cleveland athlete. So maybe I'll leave a little cliffhanger there for you. So I'm sure people, if they want to do the math, they'll do it.
What do you think of Nico Montano as champion? Because it does feel like the division has stalled a little bit. I don't even know if that fight, I mean, from what I'm hearing, it isn't a done deal for September. I know Valentina has expressed some frustration. How do you feel? Do you feel like she was owed this time off after The Ultimate Fighter?
Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, I in my opinion, you go let the champ be the champ for a year. She just did the show. I mean, 6 weeks is hard, or however long it is in the show. She did the show. Go enjoy your friends and family. Enjoy being a champ, and the UFC should be promoting her. Hey, this is our champ. Parading her around with a broken foot or whatever it is, being like, hey, this is our champ, and she earned this. She's our first one ever, and let the division play out over the year, right? Like, I think that's smart. Let the division, let a couple top 10 girls fight each other, like myself. Valentina went out and won. Like, let the division settle out, and then go, okay, this is who we feel deserves the first title shot. This is who we feel deserves this. This is who's fought these tough fights. So, I mean, I could care less. I think, we focus on what's in front of us and the things that we can control. Nico was hurt. There's nothing we could do about it. If she's not fighting, there's nothing we can do about it. It's a new division. And, I mean, how long's it been out now? What, a year? It's been only a year.
Less than a year.
There's
since
been a
December.
title. All right. Well, then I don't know what everybody's complaining about.
Chill out.
We can't speed up a process that isn't going to be sped up, even if we complain about it, right? Just going to the media and complaining about Nico not doing this, that, and the other doesn't get the job done anyways. I mean, it doesn't get you paid, and it doesn't. I mean, all it does is get you guys going a little bit. But
whose guys?
I mean,
us?
Yeah, you guys
on.
get something fun to talk about. Why not? I mean, hey, it is. It's headlines.
Okay, so
that's what it is.
Why do you feel like they wanted you to lose? You mentioned that they felt that you felt they wanted you to lose.
And again, it's not meaning like, oh, Jessica, you're bad. Like, we want you to lose. I think that's what it was. Is that Jessica Clark trains at the Performance Institute. She works. Those people out there at the Performance Institute are great. Bo, Heather, the whole team. They're Duncan. Those guys are great, right? Like, you want the machine to win, right? Like, you want your home-driven machine to beat any outside machines, right? So, obviously, she trains at the Performance Institute a lot. She's from Vegas. She's really fun, right? Like, she's got a lot of cool tattoos. She's really nice. She's international. She's from Australia. And then there's me. I'm just a big ball of controversy, right? Like, my first fight, in the UFC went the way it went. Then I busted a year off. Then I lost the fight. And then, I'm just like a big ball of controversy. And I think a couple other girls are, kind of in that same boat. But me particularly, I think that Jessica looked like a better fit. And it sounds weird saying because she's got the same name as me.
Yeah.
But I think that, Rose Clark, fit maybe a little bit better in that way. Maybe, I mean, it's just speculation. I felt like there was not very much media done on me. I didn't really have very many interviews. No one was really reaching out to me. I just felt like I was, like everything like was built for her, like I remember sitting outside one of the media rooms, listening to her do a bunch of media like interviews. And I had one, which was totally fine by me. Right. Like, I can do 1 million interviews or none. Like, it's again, like, it's a whole different Jessica at 125. And I've been really working on me and that's okay. Right. 1 interview or no interviews or 10 interviews. Like, I'm still going to say or do the same thing. So.
Okay. Let me ask you, in a perfect world, you return in the fall, you sign this new deal with the UFC, who makes sense?
The winner of Nico and Valentino.
You want the title shot now.
Like,
you want the title shot now.
Why can't I get the next title shot? I'm like, why not wait for that? My coaches have been back to back with me and Stipe, right? Like, and we don't promote to have a big gym where we need a bunch of high level fighters. So our coaches spend a lot of time with us. So we both went back from camp to camp, right? Like, I had my fight in January. He had his fight in February, right? Like, so then we turn around. I just had my fight here in June. He has his in July. Like, our coaches need a break, and I need a break. And, I mean, we ideally, why not wait? Have the summer off. September's when those guys fight. And, December, January. You know, another return. Why not? That's a perfect time. I feel like perfect time frame.
I just hope that they fight in September so that it doesn't delay things for you.
Well, yeah. I mean, hey, yeah, I can't see that fight not happening.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, or they give me the fight and I'll go fight Nico, and then me and Valentino can get there.
Okay. All right.
I mean, I'm not counting Nico out, right? Like, she's the champ, right? You got to give her where credit's due. But, you know, I think that the super fight that everyone will want to see is the two girls who left flyweight being the best, you know, fight in the flyweight division. I mean, let's face it, me and Valentino were the best in the world. And Kahujigan, because I don't want to take her out of there, but she also was. We were the best and the best at flyweight for many years.
Last thing for you. I know you're somewhat biased, and that's okay, but give us a specific prediction for the main event on Saturday. What do you got?
I mean, I'm always going to be biased, and without being biased, I mean, Stipe is just a machine that runs on his own, you know, runs on his own beat. He is unbelievable. I think people underestimate how strong he is. So, I mean, DC's incredible too, but I don't see DC being able to take Stipe's power. So, I think it could be a KO. But right. I don't want to make any two predictions, you know.
Great to catch up with you, Jessica. Congrats on the win. 2 in a row now, 125. Good luck with the contract stuff and getting that title shot that you're looking for.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to what's next year.
I appreciate it.
All right, there she is, Jessica I, stopping by. Great to hear from her. And glad that everything is okay in the land, that they're not too broken up with the fact that LeBron James. We'll check in with our own resident LeBron James expert, Mr. New York Rick, later on. He's very sad. He came in. He was distraught. He was very sad. He was very depressed over the fact that the king has left to Los Angeles. Most people in the know expected him to leave, but I think New York Rick was holding out hope that Mr. James would look around and see, you know, the great assets that they had in Cleveland, like J.R. Smith and whatnot, and say, you know what, this is the place for me. But apparently he has left and gone to Los Angeles. So Jessica I with the big win 2 weekends ago in Singapore over Jessica Rose Clark. Stipe Miocic, her teammate, returns on Saturday. So it's a great time for Cleveland sports outside of LeBron James. And that's the main event this Saturday. Okay, still to come on the program. Still have a lot more to go, my friends. We are a little over 2 hours in the bag, but we still have Justin Gaethje coming up in a matter of moments. We will also be joined by Antonina and Valentina Shevchenko. Antonina winning her Contender Series fight last Tuesday. She was extended a contract in the UFC. And the best was that guy Parisian who won the fight, the heavyweight, via spinning back fist. And then they offered him a spot on Tough. I felt so bad for that guy. And kudos to him for not really, hiding his displeasure and the fact that he was super depressed about it all.